a touchdown in the second quarter. Definitely a momentum turner and a big play for a young man playing in his first game at Arizona State.
There's no question that was a key play in the first half. We were struggling offensively, and the fumble was caused, I believe, by Shante Carver and Brett Wallerstedt, and of course it bounced into Gene's hands, and he took it into the end zone, and it was a great lift for our football team on both sides of the ball.
With that in mind, it's time now to take a look at our Southwest Airlines play of the game, the aforementioned fumble return by Gene Boyd. He'll be wearing uniform number 20. He's a junior college transfer. He won the strong safety job from Michael Williams in preseason. There you see the fumble. Gene picks it up, and he's down the sidelines. And this is just the kind of play your defense needed to provide at this particular point in the game.
Tim, sometimes when the offense struggles and maybe the execution isn't there, your defense can be there every night, and that's usually what makes a difference in a good football team.
I think defense is to football what good pitching is in baseball. If you've got it, you've got a chance to win any game, and Gene Boyd shows some good speed and nice moves down the sideline.
Well, we recruited Gene as a cornerback, so we felt like he had some skill. I just hope he doesn't want to become a running back now.
Now that is the play of the game. A new feature this year on the Larry Marmee Show. We'll be introducing you to the Sun Devil player of the game. And joining us today is linebacker / defensive end, kind of a hybrid of those positions, Shante Carver, the sophomore from Stockton, California. And Shante had a big game yesterday. 2 tackles, 2 pass breakups, 1 quarterback sack, and perhaps most importantly, Shante, several pressures, not only yourself, but several of your teammates, Brian Hooks in particular. It seemed like in the second half you always had somebody in that young quarterback's face.
Yeah, that was the plan. Get him off, because he's a young quarterback. Get him off, put pressure on so he throw the interceptions.
When you heard he was starting, is that what you figured they were going to start throwing the football? Because Oklahoma State, of course, is known as the school that provides so many great running backs. Yeah. Guys like Barry Sanders, Thurman Thomas, and this kid Raphael Denson.
Yeah, I think they surprised us when they came out throwing. They came out throwing. I thought they were going to come out running for sure. So when they started passing, I think everyone sort of licked their chops. You know.
Shante Carver is number 98 in the white jersey here. Now, you're not imposing physically, and yet you blow by offensive linemen. You had 10 quarterback sacks last year, which was the 4th highest single-season total in Sun Devil history. What, in your mind, makes you such a great pass rusher?
I think I'm aggressive. I like to just go out and recklessly and get to the quarterback.
Now, did you feel added pressure to perform yesterday, given the fact that a couple of your teammates in the defensive line didn't make the trip? Shane Collins, of course, still coming back from the knee injury. Arthur Paul was ineligible for yesterday's game because of academic reasons. Pat Mason still perhaps not 100%. Did you feel any added pressure to take some of the burden off those guys that were replacing us?
No, I know we have a good defense, and everyone's going to play up to their abilities. So I just went out there and played. Just like everyone else on the defense would do.
And you also had a new defensive line mate, Larry Boyd. He'd been a fullback here for a couple of years, switched to defensive line about 2-3 weeks ago, and he made some plays last night. Didn't take him long to learn, did it?
Yeah, he was happy, too. He was excited out there. He's getting all over everyone, you know, hitting them on the head. That was fun.
Well,
That's what makes it fun.
Shante, we thank you for joining us. Good luck the rest of the season. Shante Carver, our player of the game in the opening day win over Oklahoma State. Welcome back to the Larry Marmee Show. I'm Tim Healy, your host. Glad you could take time to join us on this Sunday afternoon to talk some Sun Devil football. Last night's 17-3 loss to the Cougars of Washington State certainly was not the fault of the Arizona State defense, which once again last night played splendid football, sacking quarterback Drew Bledsoe 7 times, forcing 4 Wazoo turnovers, and limiting the Cougars to just over 100 yards total offense in the second half of play. So not surprisingly, our Southwest Airlines play of the game is a defensive-oriented play. It came in the 4th quarter when the Devils had the Cougars pinned deep in their own territory. Arizona State had just given up a big play in terms of an interception when Brett Wallerstedt gets it right back for ASU with his 3rd interception of the year. And Larry, Brett Wallerstedt is not only your leading tackler at this point in the season, he's your leading interceptor as well. That's his 3rd.
Brett's playing very well for us. We felt prior to the season, Tim, that this guy was going to be an all-conference type performer if he continued to do the things that he had done last year and improved, and he has certainly done that.
Our Southwest Airlines player of the game, again to no one's surprise, and for the second time this season, I might add, is Shante Carver. Shante was our player of the game following the Oklahoma State season opener in Stillwater, a 30-3 Sun Devil victory, and he joins us again today to talk about a game in which he sacked quarterback Drew Bledsoe of Washington State 4 times last night, accounting for 4 of Arizona State's 7 quarterback sacks. And this was deja vu for you because you got Bledsoe 4 times again last year. Pressure on the quarterback is obviously a key when you play Washington State, is it not?
Yeah, that's what our coaches want us to do in this game, get a lot of pressure on him so he didn't have all night to throw the ball.
Because as good a passer as he is, you give him time to throw, and he's bound to find one of those receivers open. We have some highlights of Shante's play last night. He is number 98 in the maroon at the bottom of your screen here. David Dixon causes the pocket to break through there, and Shante comes through to finish off the play. Is the defense feeling pressure now, Shante? Because you guys have played well all season, and the last 3 or 4 weeks you've been asked to more or less carry a football team whose offense is struggling.
No, I don't think we feel any pressure. We know our offense will come through. We're just having a little difficulty doing it right now. We have confidence in our offense.
Are you surprised at the fact that, you were able to get to Bledsoe as much as you did and do the things that you did numerically in terms of turnovers and sacks and so forth, and you still come up on the short end of the score?
Well, I think our defense works to do that every week in and out. I think our offense depends on us to do that, and that's what we go out and do.
You talked to us earlier in the season about what makes you a great pass rusher, and I was wondering if you could repeat that for some of the fans who may not have seen the earlier show. What do you feel makes you such an outstanding pass rusher?
I think I just go after the quarterback, and my teammates help a lot by flushing them out to me, or I flush them into them.
Now the team has to stay together in a very difficult time. As you look ahead to UCLA, your thoughts?
I look at UCLA as a tough team that we have to come out and prove that we're a tough team too and take it to them.
Well, Shante, again, thanks for joining us this afternoon, and congratulations on your continued fine play this year.
Thank you.
Shante Carver of the ASU Sun Devils, in his sophomore year, one of the top pass rushers in the Pac-10 Conference. Coming up next on the Larry Marmee Show, a feature that I don't think you're going to want to miss. We're going to visit a very special young man, outside linebacker Shante Carver, and tell you some of the tragic stories that involve him away from football and how he has bounced back from some real adversity. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Larry Marmee Show. I'm Tim Healy, your host. One of the rising stars, as you well know, on this Arizona State football team is sophomore Shante Carver, who made a big play in the Oregon game this evening, batting away a Bob Brothers pass in the closing minutes on a 4th down to turn the ball over to Arizona State. Although Shante stands 6 feet 6 inches tall and weighs well over 220 pounds and cuts quite an intimidating figure on the football field, off the field, he is very soft-spoken. He has also had some personal tragedy interfere in his life in the last year. His battle to overcome that is the subject tonight of our Sun Devils Sideline feature. In just 2 years' time, Shante Carver has become one of the top pass rushers in the Pac-10 Conference. In fact, with 20 career quarterback sacks, he is only 9 away from becoming ASU's all-time leader in that department. But the pain Shante inflicts on opposing quarterbacks is nothing close to the emotional pain this young man has endured in 1991. In February of this year, Shante's mother, Peggy, was killed in an accident.
I think I just sort of paused on the phone right there. It didn't really hit me until I had to take that long bus ride to San Bernardino all by myself, and that gave me a lot of time to think. I was going, well, what am I going to do now? I've always said I didn't know what I'd do without my mom, and all of a sudden, here I am without my mom. I'm the person that's raised me from the beginning.
To make matters worse, shortly after his mother's death, Shante's grandmother passed away as well. But the young man held together through it all, remembering one of his last visits with his mother.
She seemed to understand me more. I could talk to her about girls and, all the things that go on around campus and all the distractions. And she was just trying to show me, point me in the right directions.
And when things got really tough, Shante did what so many of us do. He turned to God for help.
I thank God for helping me because I did talk to him a lot then, and I hadn't before. I talked to him. I told him I need help because I'm all by myself now. I'm in another state and no family around. I need someone to talk to, and I think God was the person who I talked to.
During idle moments, Shante often thinks about his mother. Although she's not there with him now, she will always be there in spirit. And as he did when he was younger, Shante now plays football for his mother.
Yeah, I know she does. I can sort of feel it, And I've always played for my mom. Always, when I first started. She's the one that got me into sports, really. She told me to go out and play. My brother was playing, and I always seemed to play for her.
And through all the adversity, Shante Carver has remained level-headed. He now realizes how precious life really is.
My mom's death made me say, well, it can happen. You can die anytime, so you better get the best out of every day you have, And that's what I sort of do now, is try and get the most. Say, well, I could die riding my car to school, So I have to get the best out of everything.
So often in sports we refer to things like turnovers and block kicks as overcoming adversity, but I think Shante and what happened to Magic Johnson this week, we've found out what true adversity is, right, Larry?
No question about that, Tim, and sometimes we don't know the burdens that some of these young men carry around, and as all people do, but certainly Shante has had some terrific tragedies in his life, but this guy has grown and matured by leaps and bounds since the time that he first came to ASU, and he's one that we're all very, very proud of, and he's got a ways to go in terms of his football and a couple more years, but he's truly an outstanding person that has matured.
Okay, up next, look ahead to next week's game with the Cal Golden Bears.
He's light enough to be mobile and to move around. You couldn't ask for anything more, and he's quick to the quarterback. He's got good instinct for the ball. He's going to get the...
Williams figures again to be a key for Arizona State in 1991. Third down passing attempt, and Shante Carver comes up with a sack as the Devils defense does the job again. Possession play for the Cowboys. They'll hand it off to their fullback Franks, but Shante Carver wraps him up in the backfield for a loss.
A haircut by Dusty Fleming, I'm sure, right? From the 50-yard line. Shante Carver comes in, and a flag goes. And down he goes at the 41, and this time there is no foul as Shante Carver.
They call it.
As play resumes at 2nd down 5, and this is Royster. He is stopped by Carver on a pretty unusual call. And Perry retreating. Perry under pressure. Perry goes down. The play is dead at the 16-yard line.
Anymore, that wins and losses aren't all that important. They go back to work here. Dolce's pass is batted down by Shante Carver at the line of scrimmage. Play, but a hellacious hit by Williams. Here's Shante Carver coming from the rear to sack Olford for the loss. That is on 3rd down. Carver ties up Olford, and Greg Cordes helps finish off the tackle. Again, a straight drop. Good protection, though the pocket's caving in. Dixon missed him. Shante Carver didn't. He got the pass away, but I think they're going to rule him down off at the line of scrimmage. The rush is on. That's Shante Carver from behind, bringing Bledsoe down. Brett Wallerstedt was 47-yard line. Bledsoe brought down once again by Shante Carver. The 6th quarterback sack of the night for Arizona. Key 3rd down play. Bledsoe pumps once, goes down in the arms of Shante Carver with an assist from Brian Hooks. 4 sacks on the night for Carver. He has gotten to Drew Bledsoe.
Bledsoe tackled by Carver. goes to the spread. And he is sacked behind the line of scrimmage at the 19-yard line. The man who came boring in is
Anthony Jones, a wide receiver, in motion. Brothers has some time, but the pass is swatted down by Shante Carver. Out of Washington, D.C. and Bakersfield College in California. Deep drop this time for Pulaski, and that was almost intercepted by Shante Carver.
Down, but Carver gets back up and bats the ball down. You talk about a great second effort.
Interceptions. This will probably be the final play of the third quarter. Levy in trouble, and down he goes. Shante Carver with sack number 11, making him the fourth all-time leading quarterback. Gulliver wide open, touchdown, Arizona State. Gets to the open, it's Eric Gulliver down the near sideline. Eric Gulliver, they go the distance. To watch the Sun Devils defeat the Utes of Utah in the 1993 season opener, 38-0 the final. Welcome back to the Bruce Snyder Show, everyone. I'm Tim Healy, your host. You know, hardly a day passes in Arizona State football land where somebody doesn't mention the name of Shante Carver. He's one of the most popular members of this Sun Devil football team, and of course the all-time leading quarterback sacker in ASU football history. But there are other sides to the story of this young man from Stockton, California, and that is the subject tonight of our Sun Devils Sideline feature. Off the field, Shante Carver doesn't appear to be a ferocious pass rusher. After all, with his slender build, he doesn't have the look of your prototypical defensive end. But after making every preseason All-America team, Carver has silenced his critics and should be one of the top picks in next year's NFL draft.
People want to say you're too small for something, you know, that's their opinion. They can have their opinion. They can voice their opinion however they want to. But the only thing I try and do is show what I have on the field, and that's where I let my actions speak for themselves.
After becoming Arizona State's all-time sack leader during his junior year, Shante was selected to Playboy magazine's All-American team this past summer.
Ever since I was little, I saw him in Playboy. I said, wow, I want to be on that team, you know. I want to do that. I want to be in Playboy. and it was an honor being on that team.
When Playboy brought its All-American squad to the Valley this past spring, Shante got to spend time with the best players in college football. He also got to work with some possible future All-Americans, coaching youngsters from the Phoenix Boys Club.
We'll get it next time. That was a good try, man.
As you can see, Shante Carver is a likable young man, as evidenced by the droves of fans that showed up on Fan Photo Day to secure his autograph. In fact, Carver was the focal point this past summer of ASU's season ticket campaign.
This season, the excitement continues as opposing quarterbacks venture into preseason All-America Shante Carver's Inferno.
I don't want my teammates trying to focusing on me. You know, it should be focusing on us and what we're trying to do, not on, oh, this is Shante's Inferno.
For a few days after some of the commercials came out, everyone was calling him the Inferno. Hey, you doing, Inferno? And Mr. Playboy, All-American, and things like that. And he really never thought any of that things were funny, because the thing with Shante is he really likes to prove himself on the field, and he doesn't get caught up in all the media hype like that.
He's handled it real well, I think. He's kept a level head about it and just kind of taken it and put it aside, and he's still a team man the whole way, so I think he's handled it real good.
Perhaps Shante Carver has such a strong will because he's overcome adversity during his Sun Devil career, from academic problems as a freshman to the death of his mother and grandmother during his sophomore year.
First, I want to live up to my expectations of myself, and I know my expectations would probably be higher than my mom's expectations, so I think if she was here, she'd be pretty happy.
He's overcome a lot to be a terrific football player, and I'm thinking, Bruce, that teams may devote so much attention to him this year that some of your other linemen, like Boyd and Talanoa and Proby, can come up big as they did tonight.
Well, I think that's going to happen, no question. If I were designing an attack against our defense, I'd say 98, don't let him dominate the game. Figure something else out, which will compromise you someplace else.
Okay, we still have more to come on the Bruce Snyder Show. We'll talk about the Sun Devils next.
He could play a number of spots. We just need to nail it down because he's really contributed a lot to our football team this year.
Troy Rauer, the redshirt freshman out of St. Joseph, Missouri. All right, joining us now is a young man who has had a great career at ASU. Last week, he set the all-time school record for quarterback sacks with 29. We're talking about junior defensive end Shante Carver from Stockton, California. And in what has been a great career, Shante may have played the best game of his career today. A deflected pass that resulted in a Sun Devil interception that set up a touchdown, blocked a field goal, blocked a punt that resulted in a safety, a couple of sacks in the backfield all day. What is it about Washington State that brings out the best in you? You had 8 career sacks of Drew Bledsoe heading into this game. What is it about the side of the Cougars on the other side of the line of scrimmage?
I don't think it's any different from anything else. I just come out and play football every game, and it just so happens that against Cougars I seem to have a better game.
Of course, they do have a pass-oriented attack, which to a pass rusher is like an invite into the backfield sometimes, I guess.
Yeah, it is. When you have a team that passes a lot, you have a chance of getting a lot of sacks. And that was our game plan going into the game.
You really seemed to dominate them defensively in the first quarter. They had some confidence problems, I thought, offensively the last couple of weeks, and you seemed to contribute to those early on in this game.
Yeah, we were getting after them. I mean, we were pumped up, ready to play. You know, we came out and played our hardest. It's just unfortunate we didn't get the win.
I mentioned on the air this afternoon that I felt as though you would trade all the individual accomplishments you had for a W this afternoon, and I know that's the case, but talk about the team's effort. We've been talking it with Coach Snyder, how this team continues to fight and battle and believe in itself, even though you've lost so many people to injuries.
Yeah, we always come out and play hard. I mean, that's what Coach Snyder coaches us to do. It's just unfortunate that sometimes we don't get the breaks, you know, here and there, and the most important thing is we don't get to win.
Talk about the defense. That's been the strength of this team, and the defensive line in particular is one area where you've been able to stay pretty healthy. And boy, you and Israel and Gavin and, you know, Brian Hooks, the whole group has really come through.
Yeah, we're called the horsemen, you know. We want to rush the passer and get off from the ball every play, and I think that's what we've been doing so far this year.
How many horsemen are there? I guess there's, what, 5 or 6 of you, huh?
Yeah, there's 6.
It showed right from the first at Camp Tontozona, those blue bag drills when you were going after the quarterback, you got the hunch that this group would be something special this year. Did you have the same feeling at that time?
Yeah, I mean, I knew we were going to have a great defense, you know. Everyone wants to play, everyone wants to win, you know, and I think that's a big thing in how we play defense.
Well, Shante, again, I know you're disappointed about the loss, but you have to be commended for your effort and that of the defense. Congratulations to you.
Thanks.
Shante Carver, the Sun Devil defensive end, with perhaps the game of his fine career this afternoon here in Pullman. Still lots more to come on the Bruce Snyder Show. When we return to Martin Stadium, we will meet freshman quarterback Troy Rauer. I say quarterback, he's also a slot back. He plays here, he plays there, he does a little bit of everything, and you will meet him next. We are back at Martin Stadium in Pullman.